Hello guys, welcome to another Warframe video, and in this video we will be looking at the amazing Harrow Prime. So Harrow is pretty much a critical Warframe in terms of critical chance and critical damage buffs. So in this video I'll just showing you my builds based on infinite critical chance. Before we get into the builds, I just want to show you the Archon Shards that I have installed. So it's pretty much straightforward here. I just went up with health and armor. Armor for the damage reduction at 50%. With 300 armor, you should pretty much get 50% damage reduction, which is pretty much needed. Then of course I have health here to increase my survivability. I can actually swap out some of these health shards for more armor shards. It's definitely up to those that wants to just get more armor than health. But this alone is pretty much good enough for me to survive in almost any situation. So I will mainly be using the Knell Prime, which is pretty much the signature weapon for Harrow. And I do have a ribbon here with crit chance, reload speed, and electricity. Reload speed and crit chance are pretty much below average because you don't need that much crit chance as well as reload speed. And I do have sprite sights here, and I don't want to form up my Knell again for a better mod. So sprite sights with movement speed is actually pretty good. So I do have 3 builds or 2 if not going to be using a Nuke or CC build, which is pretty much more into the regular missions than Steel Path. So this build will be the pistol crit build, which is basically a pistol critical chance and damage build here. Now with these stats alone here for Covenant, I do have a good duration for protection and retaliation. I do have a subsumed ability, which is rebuild shields for faster rebuilding of shields, so that way I can spam my penance for extra fire rate as well as lifesteal. I do have condemned here, and I could just swap out my condemned for the rebuild shields, but I don't really use the energy regeneration from the Thurible, so I just use condemn only if I need to add some sort of CC or breathing room when I'm in trouble. And with the mods here, pretty much straightforward. Energy Siphon for more energy, Power Drift for the extra ability strength, Blind Rage for ability strength, and Umbra Intensify for more ability strength. When it comes to duration, it's really important to get duration as much as possible, so I have all these duration mods here. Hunter Adrenaline is to give the extra tankiness or survivability as well as energy when you take damage, so it's actually pretty good. Lasting Covenant is a mandatory mod for this build to work. Arcanes, I have Arcane Velocity for the extra fire rate, Arcane Guardian for armor. If you do not want to use pistols or secondary weapons, you can actually use a primary weapon for crits, and here is the build that I have here. Now when it comes to subsuming abilities, do whatever you want. These 4 abilities alone should be good to go still. And the mods that I have here are pretty much straightforward. So if you don't want to have too many duration, but want to have good amount of range, or want to have a good amount of strength, well, this build is actually all-rounder here. So I do have arcanes here, and these are just placeholders depending on what you want to do. So I do have fire rate here for primary weapons, which is pretty good. Bolting efficiency for the extra duration, but you can swap this out for whatever arcane you want. So the idea of these 2 builds, or just the first build, depending on what you're going to do, well, you definitely want to cast your Covenant first, so that way you get the extra protection duration, and then you want to cast your Penance as soon as possible, so that way you get the extra fire rate. Now depending on what subsumed ability you have, if you have Rebuild Shields, you want to cast that next, so that way you get extra duration of Penance, and then go ahead and start killing stuff. Always keep an eye out on the Penance. If the duration is pretty low, rebuild shields or condemn to regenerate extra duration on the penance. Lasting Covenant's duration of 9 seconds should give you enough time to land another headshot once in a while, so you should be okay when it comes to duration on Lasting Covenant. If you're not going to be using the rebuild shields, you want to cast Covenant and then Penance and then Thurible, so that way you get extra energy. And I do have a Nuke CC build primarily for the regular missions, so here the mods are pretty straightforward. I have all strength and range, negative duration, and I do have Augur Secrets here and Augur Reach, so that we can keep the shields up. For the Arcanes, I do have multiple augmented here, and I do have Arcane Steadfast. When it comes to Arcane Steadfast, you definitely don't need to have this because of infinite energy. So when it comes to this Arcane, you definitely want to replace this with something better. So what you can actually replace this with is Power Ramp. Now for the subsumed ability is obviously Thermal Thunder, and I'm hoping there is a better AoE ability very soon in the future. So when it comes to Thermal Thunder, obviously you want to be using Heat for Grineers or Code for Corpus. And that is it for this video. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this video. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, peace out.